On this episode, we talk about the new compact rules.
Enhanced
compact rules in our very new studio. Atlas All Access starts now.
From Kirkin at 0450.
All right.
Welcome to the new war room.
You like the new war room?
It's way bigger.
A nice upgrade.
I didn't have to crawl over any cables or
Like,
crawl under the
scooch
table.
sideways and
Like this is nice.
I know,
It's
right? Look
easy entrance and exit.
this table weighs like 1,000 pounds too. So yeah, I'm super excited for everyone to see the new office. We just got moved in last Friday.
Yeah.
Was moving day, and so this is our very first recording in the very new war room.
Please stop by and see us.
Absolutely,
We love it.
That'd be great.
Front door's always open.
Front door is always
not
open.
the back.
Yes, yeah. So, all right. So it came up a couple times recently online, and so that's why we invited Hannah back, not to see her yawn again,
No.
but if anyone watched the blooper reel,
Had lots of coffee today.
totally, absolutely,
Safe.
she's prepared.
Yeah.
So it came up a few times online. There seems to be some confusion, and even I have a little bit of confusion as to the new rules about compact states. And so who better to ask than two of our more senior recruiters, Adam and Hannah. So
And let's be honest, I go to Hannah for everything.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, stop it.
No.
So then Adam and I are just going to nod our
And I
heads
just
like
make it up.
this as Hannah talks today.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into this. So when this was a year ago, when I was still legit talking to hospitals every single day, I had a pretty good handle on the compact rules. It's changed a lot.
Not that much, in my opinion.
It seems like
It's changed for the better.
it's way better, right? I mean,
Right. We got 5 new states that would have taken maybe 5 more years to join had the National Council of the State Boards of Nursing not decided to revamp their compact license process and call it the Enhanced License Compact.
And so what are those 5 new states?
Yeah.
We got Wyoming, Oklahoma, Georgia, West Virginia, and Oklahoma. Wait, did I say Oklahoma?
Florida.
Sorry.
Yeah. Which, good Lord, before Oklahoma, because I staffed Oklahoma.
That's a 30-day license. You can never get a hold of the Board of Nursing.
Never.
Grumpiest people ever work there.
Yeah. We love you, though.
Yeah. Sorry.
Now.
Yeah.
Florida before was a headache, too, right?
Yeah, that was another 30 days. There was that time they went down to 2 weeks when they really needed nurses, but that was another hard license. Yeah. And these processing times really prevent people from taking jobs in those states. It really hurts the state at the end of the day because on our end, we cannot submit you in states where the license takes this long. They want it active. They don't want any holdups or potential setbacks. So the floodgates open for them when they join the enhanced agreement.
So I guess just slightly off topic, how have jobs responded then? What have you seen on your end? Whereas before we'd have a decent number of Oklahoma jobs, for example, and they would sit open for a while, right? Has anything changed?
You get a lot more applicants.
Are they filling faster though?
200%. Yes.
I would
yes.
absolutely say that.
Yep.
I would say even Florida, and obviously it depends on VMSs and those things as well.
Sure.
As I would say we're seeing less jobs because I think they are filling faster.
Filling faster, right? Yeah.
So if you look at our job boards and stuff, I don't think things sit there as long because you have more accessibility to getting those jobs.
Which makes a ton of sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then what's coming up? Because there are a couple states that are still...
Yes. Okay, so just last week, Louisiana, the governor signed. They are going to implement that one December 1st. And when you go to the National Council's website, you'll see the states in the different color that are pending. That just means that it is potentially going to vote. Nothing has happened there. Whereas Louisiana and Kansas now as well, they have passed it. The governor has signed it. they have implementation dates set up. So sadly, Kansas is not until July 1st of next year, but we get Louisiana goes live December 1st.
Sweet.
This year.
I'll tell you, now I staffed Kansas for a very long time, and it doesn't seem like the most glamorous place, whatever. I grew up in Kansas. I can say it isn't the most glamorous place, but and another Kansas boy here, right?
Yes,
too,
absolutely.
Right.
Born and raised.
Rates are pretty good.
Yep.
And good housing, good people. If Kansas had been compact back in the day, good Lord, I would have placed so many more people there.
Well, a lot of times people don't realize half of Kansas City is in Kansas.
Yeah.
You have Lawrence, you have Manhattan, you have Wichita. I mean, there's other than the western side of Kansas, there is still a pretty good population. So, but once again, jobs would sit there forever. Or if you had a Kansas nurse.
And that's my perspective. I am so excited. I still work with a ton of nurses. Home state is Kansas, and this is a life changer for them.
Yeah.
As a company, it saves us money because we're not reimbursing so many licenses, but them, it opens up 10 times as many doors. Well, 31 times as many doors.
I'm so excited for the Kansas part. So, and Louisiana too. I mean, Louisiana really, they could use the help.
That was always an easy license. That one, Kansas was too, but.
Well, that was like when Missouri went compact, right? Missouri was a walkthrough. You could get a Missouri license in 10 minutes. And then went compact, and it made it that much easier.
Yeah.
You don't have to drive.
To me, it's more about the people who live there permanently.
Yes.
Like this is a life changer for them.
Good.
Yep.
So, next question then: process of obtaining compact privileges in your home state. So, give us a breakdown. So, you live there, like you just explained. What do you have to do now?
So, if I live in Kansas, I would have to take additional steps to change my license from single state to a multi-state. And it is another application. It's more money, and now it's fingerprinting to be a part of the enhanced agreement. And this is something Colorado just changed too. They previously didn't require fingerprints, but now everyone has to get fingerprinted. So they're going to re-fingerprint you, and that process in all the states that have implemented this is normally taking about 3 to 4 weeks. So you have to be patient. You'll find all the information on their website. You just go to the Board of Nursing site. It'll state right there how to change your license privileges and follow it step by step.
Yeah, and I know Florida, obviously a lot of people at the beginning were having a hard time or I don't want to say complaining, but it was just extra steps.
Well, we weren't expecting that part.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just assumed they'd automatically get those compact privileges.
But it seems like a super easy process now.
They make it simple.
That people have done it. They've probably perfected it a little bit over time. But and obviously didn't have thousands of people doing it at one time.
Right.
So,
and that's part of like Colorado. Now that they're implementing fingerprints, their license process has gone from 2 weeks to 6 weeks because of that fingerprinting requirement.
Oh, wow.
So that is the only state where we've really seen a big difference with the processing.
Interesting. So I assume, and I know every state's probably different, and like you said, go to the website, go to that state's website, right? Or your home state's website.
So if I live in Oklahoma, I go to the Oklahoma website, I pull up the form, follow the directions, send it in, do my fingerprints, and wait.
Is it just as easy as so I know multiple times here for contracts and stuff, like Steve and I did FBI fingerprints. We have to go to the Highway Patrol office. During the adoption process, we had to do it multiple times, right? And it's just as easy as they have a window there at the Highway Patrol office, and you go in, you say, this is what I want to do. You're in and out in 5 minutes generally. I mean,
and even a lot of those Board of Nursing websites will provide you specific locations. If you need someplace to start, or a quick Google search for fingerprinting.
Interesting.
Great.
So then time frames.
3 to 4 weeks, and that's Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, anywhere I've seen. That's about what they're averaging to convert your license to the multi-state privileges.
And it's really not the paperwork. I think the fingerprints.
It's the fingerprints.
The fingerprints, and then I'm guessing they take those fingerprints and probably do a national search.
Yep. Which why these boards do not share that information with each other is beyond me, but they each want their piece of the pie. So.
So let's talk about states that haven't joined or refuse to join.
There's a couple of them.
Let's talk about them because, let's talk about them.
Traditionally, I think they're union-heavy states. There's a lot of opposition from unions for specific reasons. Whatever those are, that's a whole other conversation. Sure. But Minnesota is going to be a really difficult one. Ohio is going to be a really difficult one. My money for who's joining next is on Arizona, and I think Michigan will go. which is a big win because that's another long license.
Michigan would be great.
Yep. And they have great rates there and consistent jobs all the time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Huh. Interesting. So Arizona, what do you think? 2 years, 3 years, maybe? Maybe.
You said
Arizona.
Arizona's
Oh, I
very
meant
compact.
Nevada. Sorry.
Nevada. Yeah,
Sorry. Sorry.
Yep. You even wrote it down here.
And then I think Hannah and I agree on states that will not. Obviously, the West Coast, California, Oregon,
Never
Washington.
happening.
I think they're going to hold on strong for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting what like New York, Massachusetts do, just because there's always a lot of needs up there. It's interesting if this will kind of push some of those people.
Massachusetts, it's always a funny one to me because the way I see it, they should just join. They're already outsourcing their endorsements to a company in Nashville. They're not even keeping that process or that money in the state. So if they're not going to do that, then why the heck don't they just join the compact? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And they don't offer a temporary permit. So that's a state where you have to have everything. If you're licensed in California, don't expect to get a Massachusetts license for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, perhaps.
Wow.
But it makes no sense to me why they wouldn't join if they're already giving their money to another state.
Right.
That's interesting. Didn't know that.
I didn't know
And
that
then you
either.
guys were talking about Ohio. What happened with Ohio a long time ago?
They're just another union-heavy state, and they evaluated the initial compact agreement years and years and years ago, and they're just unwilling to revisit it. They've made up their mind and they're sticking to their guns. But once again, unions probably pay.
Possibly. And nothing has changed in the past 15 years to negate that study.
Right.
What about Illinois and Indiana?
That was sarcasm.
I would love if they would join as well.
Indiana,
everything just surrounds there. I mean, between Kentucky, Missouri, Wisconsin, Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's compact there. But then you have Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio right there in that belt. Pennsylvania, New York, Washington. It seems like that line right across.
I wish Indiana.
But I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't think it. They're not going to be one of the first. Yep, they're not going to be one of the first.
I'll tell you, and once again, growing up in Kansas, things are so slow to develop in Kansas sometimes, and they signed it, and then you can't get a more progressive state, maybe like, I don't know, Indiana.
Oftentimes they'll look at their neighboring state. So Kansas was prompted because of what Missouri was doing. That's why they reevaluated and eventually joined. Yeah. So it's, and then it also takes the people who live there, it takes action on their part. You have to get this in front of the legislation for that vote.
So how do you, let's say you live in Ohio, how do you as a nurse make your voice heard?
From my understanding, the Board of Nursing will inform registered nurses in the state if and when it's happening. And so I don't know if they can vote for it directly. This is where I get lost. But
can they contact their representative or congressman or whatever about that? And
I
mean, if enough of them did it, I mean, that's...
And if they have the backing of the Board of Nursing, then, that always looks better.
Interesting. One other state that I know we haven't touched on yet that always has a ton of jobs, that has pretty decent rates, that's kind of cool to visit is New Jersey. Yeah. And have they been pending for a while?
Years.
Yeah.
Years, yeah.
Like every time you go to that website, it always shows up in light color, right? I mean, you think that eventually that's going to happen.
Yeah, you just have to ask yourself why they're receiving opposition for it not to be passed. I don't know where that comes from. Weird. Because if it keeps coming up for vote and getting rejected, I don't know where that comes from. But
weird. Well, and Jersey's one of those states where we know we don't have a very good presence. Atlas, that is, we don't have a very good presence, and I don't want this to be about Atlas, much, because this is just good, just general information. But you could probably ask the company you work for too, pay for that license, right?
Right,
There's
we do.
Good jobs there.
Absolutely.
There's always a ton of jobs.
What's the licensure? Is it $150?
I believe so.
It's around that.
Yeah, probably with doing nurses and stuff, it's probably 200 or so, but it's not that big deal.
It's nothing.
And they have a lot of hospitals in their registry, which is kind of, a free-for-all. There's no tiering system. No. There's fewer VMSs, so it's faster interviews. You have an equal chance with the person, the profile sitting next to yours. And they interview really quickly because the license is hard. They don't get as many candidates. And you also see a lot of residents within New Jersey choosing to travel within New Jersey just because, once again, they can increase their income.
It's an easy commute, too.
Yeah. So ask, right? All you can do is ask.
Yes.
Look, if you're on contract in wherever, Kentucky, and you ask your company, hey, if you pay for the Jersey license now and then don't take it out of my check later,
right,
I'll go there on my next contract.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I think that's reasonable.
And summer in Jersey is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fall.
And fall.
And winter, no.
Well, but
depends
winter.
if you like snow.
People go to New York in the winter.
That's
Why wouldn't
true,
you go
yeah.
to Jersey?
Yeah, but Jersey's a great location to get to D.C., to get to Manhattan. To
Take the train anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Connecticut, all over. You can go down to Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because, no, that's not far at all. A couple hours, but you can take the train down. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal.
Nice, relaxing ride.
Yeah. So, cool. Well, good information. I love that I wanted to talk about this for a little while because, like I said, if I'm confused about it, then I know, and we do this every single day, then, let's...
And on an ending note, so when these states had the choice to join the Enhanced Compact Agreement, the only state that was part of the original compact that didn't join was Rhode Island, which it's a small state and an easy license, so...
What is the licensure process in Rhode Island right now? What do you think? A couple weeks?
I haven't had anybody there in a while. My information would not be up to date on that one.
Interesting.
But I'm going to find out now.
I don't want to make fun of Rhode Island for being small, but that's,
That's what she said.
There's not as many. Very funny. Very funny. There's not as many hospitals in Rhode Island, right? I mean, so that doesn't really hurt us that.
We don't see consistent needs there. Yeah.
That's the first That's What She Said reference in 26 episodes.
I didn't know if I was supposed to say it on camera. Megan would be proud of me. Yeah.
I love it. All right, so I wanted to introduce, we have one last little bit here. I want this to become kind of a part of the podcast that we end every week, since we are so heavy in social media. And I'm on there every single day. I think it'd be fun to, every week, pick out one post on social media and blur out the names to protect the innocent, but then talk about one post just for a couple minutes, and we'll call it Post of the Week.
This is the Facebook Post of the Week.
This comes from Wanderlust Travelers, the Wanderlust Travelers group. So I sort of got chewed out by a recruiter today for not wanting to submit to a job near Seattle with the take home around $1,400 because I said it was too low. He proceeded to tell me that this is the going rate and he can't keep looking for jobs for me if this isn't an acceptable pay package for me. Am I wrong here? I just don't think I can make any money with the rent prices in the area and that pay.
I think it's summer.
Yep.
The rates are not sexy by any means right now. Mm-hmm. If I was pitching a Seattle pay package, I would probably be in that area of that pay on there. Mm-hmm. It is what it is right now, and I hate saying that. And I would not be one to jump on there and say, "Oh, I can pay you better," or it just is what it is. And there's probably some VMSs out there that have a direct contract that can probably pay better than me. Mm-hmm. And if you want to go take that contract with that other company and come back to me later, that's great. It's sad, and obviously it's hearsay of being chewed out or sure. Just saying that, but. As a recruiter, if that pay package is just not what you're looking for, and that's the only area you're looking for, I might tell you that, like, hey, come back to me when you want to open up your search, or come back to me when rates are better, and I'll get you up there. I mean, it just is what it is. You're
right. We only have one side of this story, but isn't there? I mean, maybe you just did it. There's a softer way of saying. Right. Not just, I can't keep doing this for you if you're just going to keep turning jobs down.
I say props to this person for identifying that before they were submitted, because as a recruiter, I think it's really frustrating for us to, you should always go over the pay before you're submitted to a position. It's frustrating when we've gone over all of that, you've interviewed, you've accepted, and then you decide you can't afford it.
Yeah.
This is a much better solution to be thinking about all of that before you're even submitted to the position. And at the end of the day, your financial obligations better than your recruiter. Mm-hmm. You can be open and say, I need X amount a week to make traveling worth it for me. And that's a fair, honest conversation. Mm-hmm. But if you know that those numbers are not going to work, then evaluating that before you even submit it is definitely the best way to do it. And you're also looking at a really expensive city. $1,400 in Seattle is not the same as $1,400 a week in a small town in New Mexico, where you're going to find a fully furnished apartment for $600 a month.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day is if you as a traveler really want to go to Seattle, go do an assignment in Bismarck, North Dakota and work a bunch of overtime.
Yep.
And I'd say what we don't know about this situation was Seattle their only location of interest.
Right.
If that is the only place they wanted to be and that is the pay package that their recruiter is seeing, then there was another way to word that.
Yep.
But
True.
Do an assignment for money, do an assignment for fun and where you want to be. Do an assignment for money, do an assignment for fun and where you want to be. And make it work that way for you.
Yep.
On the traveler side.
Yep.
But like I said, I think Hannah would probably agree with me that $1,400 is probably par for the course. Not knowing specialty shift, any of that information on there, that's probably a pretty fair pay package.
And Seattle
right
is a city where you see significant variations from health system to health. Swedish by far is going to pay you the most money. I would say the close second is like University of Washington, Northwest, those facilities. And they use that Metafis where you can bid. So in those situations, we could always try for more money. They might say no, but we have that option.
So you can try for it, though.
And then...
Which is interesting because, so once again, going back to Kansas, $1,400 in, Kansas City or Wichita.
That's great.
That's not that bad.
That's almost double what a staff nurse is making.
Right. And you can get pretty decent housing. You can go outside of Kansas City or outside of Wichita and get really affordable housing that wouldn't take you long to get back to the hospital. And that's so...
It's different to make $1,400 a week and pay way less for your housing. And it's comparing apples to oranges.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, it has to work for you as the nurse.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to work for us. We can pitch a pay package all day.
Do you have student loans? What are your financial obligations at home? What's your mortgage, your rent there, car payments?
It has to work for you.
And well, it goes back to what we've always talked about. Only you know you, right? You know what's best for you. You own that process. You make the right decisions for yourself.
Correct.
So,
and I think being open with your recruiter about that is important. If I know that somebody has to make at least $1,600 a week to pay all their bills and still make traveling profitable if that's their goal, then that's a great conversation to have. And as a recruiter, I know some travelers might be scared, well, if I say I need 16, they're always going to offer me 16 when I could be making 18. An honest recruiter's not going to do that.
No.
They want you to have a great experience so you continue working with them. It's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for being with us again.
That was awesome.
Since we have more room now, and we're not jammed in the little in our little back closet at all, so I'm really excited for what's going to happen in here.
It's going to fill this whole wall up.
We added to it already. Planet of the Vampires up here is probably one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. But it was Atlas Comics, so if you find anything on the road that's fun and it says Atlas or whatever, I mean, some of the stuff doesn't even say Atlas, but
I was wondering about the Princess Leia thing.
That's just cool.
Okay.
That's just cool. Oh, and the Bill Murray. But if you find anything out on the road, send it to us. I'd love to put something up. The Atlas license plate came from one of our nurses. Some of the other fun stuff that the golf ball did. So anyway, send it to us. We'd love to add it to the wall. We'll be back next week.
Have a good one, guys.
Right.
Thank you.
See you then.